Welcome back. After the Charleston church shooting, some victims' family members publicly offered forgiveness in court. Words that move the world and raise difficult questions about what forgiveness really means. This Saturday, the International African American Museum will be hosting a panel discussion on the politics of forgiveness. Our Raphael James has a preview.
We think of forgiveness, that's something usually that has something to do with the church. Why is the museum getting into the business of forgiveness?
Well, the museum is a First Voices institution for indigenous communities, and the faith-based department in particular considers this a prime opportunity with which to let those voices speak.
The International African American Museum will host the discussion off-site Saturday, April 18th at Charity Missionary Baptist Church from 9 to 12:30 p.m. Panelists include Reverend Nelson B. Rivers III, Sharon Risher, whose mother, Ethel Lance, was among the Emmanuel Nine, and Brother DeAndre Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. Pastor Byron Benton of Mount Moriah Baptist Church will be the keynote speaker.
We need to make sure that we would distinguish between forgiveness and reconciliation of relationship.
Benton will begin with a message about the theological and religious underpinnings of what forgiveness means in its totality.
So yes, you can forgive me, but that does not mean that our relationship has been restored or renewed, or that I'm even a healthy person for you to be in relationship with. You may forgive me and decide you never want to deal with me again because we cannot walk together in agreement.
So what's the next step after forgiveness?
Well, it depends on what your goal is. Because forgiveness is just the beginning of something. And it could be that forgiveness is the beginning of reconciliation.
This panel discussion will give us an opportunity in the community, an opportunity to have what we think is a well-needed discussion, and a discussion far too long delayed in the life of the Black community.
There will also be a Q&A session, and audience members are invited to participate in this discussion. It's free to attend, but you are encouraged to register. You can find the link to do so in this story on live5news.com. I'm Raphael James.